Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Mr. Peter Obi paid a courtesy visit to JUDE OKOYE, Paul of PSQUARE, and of course JUDE OKOYE's wife, Ifoma OKOYE, was present. Yeah, she was present, not at the meeting. At least I didn't see any photo of her at the meeting. It was a beautiful one, I hope so. And yesterday, being the 14th of August 2024, Mr. Peter Obi paid a courtesy call to the other half of the P-Square brothers, Peter Okoye. And nothing more, like we didn't get to see a lot from the visit, but I just hope everything turns out really good because the brothers have been in a deep war, and no thanks to their elder brother Jude Okoye. Hey guys, let's start from the beginning, or not the very beginning, the recent beginning. Recently, Cutie Jules broke the news that Paul and Jude were currently in EFCC answering questions. That was on the 16th of July. And a few days later, she reported that, okay, Paul, of course, left almost immediately and put up this post on his Instagram stories. Eagle eyes equal to all cleared. I know Tifo, just good music they pay. A couple of days later, Cutie Jules shared this. Thank you, Fino, for signing as a surety at EFCC for Jude Okoye to be bailed. I heard no single person wanted to sign for Jude because of his Judas character. Fino has to use documents of some of his landed properties, and also Fino had to get his friend to sign as Jude's second surety. Fino, well done. But I hope this Jude doesn't show you his Judas character in future. Well, for Fino to do this, it's possible Jude has come true for him in the past. You never can tell with these folks. But it's all good. I love that he did that for his friend. Regardless, at least let him just do it. Let's hope that Jude doesn't return the favor with bad. And because Paul recently released an album, an EP or singles, I don't really care because I don't know, I'm so upset with these brothers, especially Paul. Paul recently released, I know he has songs in the market right now. And he actually went on radio interviews where he alleged that his brother sent EFCC after him. He said a whole lot of things, talked about how he was the singer, the songwriter, his brother was just a dancer, how he wrote like 80% of the songs, and how I don't know if you guys can remember my banker Latina Bagam. He said the song was originally done by him, but when according to him, when they wanted to shoot the video, they wanted Onyeka Onwenu because the late Onyeka, because that's her song. I mean, Paul paid her for using the soundtrack or whatever. So when he wanted to shoot the video, he wanted Onyeka to be in that video with Mr. Ibu. He wanted them to play Paul's parents because the song is actually Paul's. But Onyeka wouldn't agree to shoot the video if Peter wasn't in the video. So, according to Paul, they had already shot the first video, and few moments later, he reconciled with his brother, and he now called it. Luckily for him, the video director, agreed to shoot again for free. That was how Onyeka got on it, and Peter of P-Square got on that video. But he said that song is not for P-Square, that it belongs to Rude Boy solely. Well, maybe it's true, maybe it's not. So he went on and on in his interview saying a whole lot of things about his brother. And guess what? And like I said, he also mentioned that his brother arrested him. His brother sent EFCC after him. EFCC cleared him. So after so much said and done, the brother released like a letter to his brother. Two sides. He wrote about what's going on in the P Square group and what led to their second breakup. And he also wrote about the EFCC saga. But let's start with this one first. Open later to my dear brother Jude Okoye, aka Rude Boy. This was published on the 12th of August 2024, and he had the entire internet buzzing with a whole lot of Nigerians trooping to Paul, Jude, and his wife's Instagram comment sections, berating them. In fact, Jude Okoye's wife had to turn off her comment section because she couldn't bear the heat in the kitchen. So, of course, she left the kitchen for Nigerians. Trust Nigerians. And funny enough, after Paul had granted his interview, a lot of people were going to Peter's Instagram. Oh, reconcile with your brother. Why did you report your brother? But by the time Peter released his own version, oh my God, tables turned so quick. But let's get, guys, I don't know. You guys always say, oh, read it. If not, I would have just let you guys read this by yourselves. But no problem. I will do the honors. Open later to my dear brother Paul Okoye, aka Rude Boy, August 12, 2024. My dear brother Paul, just like I told you several times, I am not in any competition with you or anybody else. However, seeing you grant countless interviews where you constantly discredit my efforts in the group that we both created and built together really speaks volume. In your recent interviews, you claimed that you wrote and sang 99% of all P Square songs and discredited me by saying that our song with T.I., A Jallo, which I wrote, was a failure. You went as far as using the YouTube views to discredit me once again. You never acknowledged other songs like Get Squared, Busybody, Personally, Roll It, Temptation, Alingo, More Than a Friend, Shikini, Say Your Name, Give Me That, Senorita, Ibedu, and a few others. Were these songs also considered failures as well? Guys, this is heavy. And funny enough, these songs he listed are actually my favorites from P Square. I love Personally, I love Temptation, I love More Than a Friend so much. Give me that Senorita. All these songs are dope, man. This Paul, bomb they head. So he continued, every time I have spoken in interviews about P Square, I have always used we and us because I saw us as a team. But whenever you speak, it's always I and me. Even when I am standing right beside you, it's as if I never existed. My brother, neither of us is the most talented artist in the world, but you fail to understand that God gave us this talent and even granted us another chance to excel after our last breakup. Instead, you chose to turn the most awarded and decorated music group in Africa into a laughing stock again. One thing you need to understand clearly is that the fans didn't fall in love with P Square because of who sang or danced the most. What made us special was the magic that came from our combined efforts. Us, too. P Square was a force, and the fans fell in love with P Square because of our uniqueness and unity. We both have talents, no doubt, but I have often praised you in our interviews for your songwriting ability. I've also praised anyone who has ever written a song for us, or even for me as Mr. P. But instead of showing gratitude for my kind words, you seem to find satisfaction in rubbing it in my face, forgetting that it is by God's grace that we have come this far. Rather than joining forces with me to reclaim our number one spot in the music industry, you chose to team up with Jude to claim the number one spot in the P Square group, always looking for opportunities to marginalize and humiliate me. You are always claiming to be P Square's songwriter, composer, producer, singer, backup vocalist. In fact, you are everything, including P Square's video director, brand, promoter, manager, and even the choreographer. You are the author and finisher of P Square. In fact, I dash you 100% of everything instead of the 99% you claim. I blame myself for not responding to your tweet claims in April 2015 that you wrote and sang all of P Square songs. I didn't respond to these false claims for the sake of peace as advised by family and friends, and now I am paying dearly for it. Guys, see why you shouldn't choose silence sometimes. So open your mouth wah, and talk. It's just like this current issue in Big Brother House where Chinwe is claiming Nelly stole her jewelries and Nelly is not taking it to heart. There's some tags you shouldn't let stick to you because, for example, now if it's in this Big Brother's house, by the time the show is done and dusted, who will have time to sit down and start saying, what happened? Sort it immediately. Look at this one. He chose silence. And as he said, now he is paying dearly for it. Let me continue, Ojari. So, my brother, let me ask you. Is Rude Boy or Mr. P bigger and more successful than P Square today? Are we individually selling out arenas and stadiums like P Square used to? Are we topping world music charts with our songs as solo artists? Do we command crowds and entertain massive audiences like P Square? These are valid questions, to be very honest. Let me continue. I often find myself wondering, what do you really gain by constantly disrespecting and belittling me all the time? You have disrespected my wife, disrespected my family, disrespected my talent, disrespected my ideas, and even sided with Jude when he was clearly trying to oppress me. Now it feels like you have taken it even further by trying so hard to turn the fans against me by making them believe I am jealous of you. You have been doing everything for the fans to hate me. But guess what? They will never hate me. Instead, they will hate us both because we have disappointed and failed them. Guys, you see this one, it is the truth because to be very honest, I don't have a favorite among the Okoye, like among the P Square brothers. I cannot even choose a particular person because I listen to both of their songs. So no, regardless of what they say about each other, I don't know. I just cannot bring myself to hate them because I believe that someday they will make up and be good. I mean, they are brothers, united by birth. The fact that they've decided to go their separate ways at this point is by choice, and I believe that blood will always bring them back together, one way or the other. That's my belief. Let me continue with the essay. He continued, you have been doing everything for the fans to hate me, but guess what? They will never hate me. Instead, they will hate us both because we have disappointed and failed them. I hope you are happy now. I genuinely wish you nothing but the best, bro. As for those who believe these lies and false narratives and come to my page to drop negative comments, I understand because you have been fed the wrong narrative for a long time. Please allow me to focus and do my music in peace. As for the EFCC matter, I will address it before the end of today. Stay tuned. Peace. Peace sign and then signed Peter Okoye. So this later broke the internet. A lot of people were offended. They were like, Paul, you're the problem. Paul, you're the problem. People were not happy at all. But then let's get to the EFCC bit. This he captioned, I never attempted or tried to use the EFCC to arrest my twin brother. Well, this was released on the 12th of August 2024, the same day he released the one I just read. Caption, well, I never attempted or tried to use the EFCC to arrest my twin brother. August 12th, 2024. Before I tell you the whole story, here is what I need you all to understand. It's always surprising to me when people say P Square is always bringing their family matters into the public eye. Let me clarify this. P Square is not just a family, it's a public brand. But Peter, Paul, Jude, Anita, Ifoma, Lola, and the rest of our family members are family. But P Square is an entity that belongs to the public as much as it does belong to us. Our fans have played a significant role in our success, so they have the right to know what's happening with their beloved brand P Square. That's why it's understandable when certain aspects of our lives are shared publicly. Now, let's get straight to the point. I want to make it clear that I never reported my twin brother Paul to the EFCC. I know many of you were disappointed when Paul accused me of doing so. He mentioned that I wrote a petition against him, which he claimed made the EFCC to ask him to provide a surety. This statement suggested that he was detained, which is not true. Peter, Paul, and Jude own a management company called Northside Entertainment, which we use to manage all of P Square affairs. One day, I discovered another company with a similar name, but this one was called Northside Music instead of Northside Entertainment. This surprised me, so I decided to investigate further, and guess what? To my shock, the founders and directors of this secret company were none other than Jude Okoye and his wife Ifeoma Okoye, and the registered address was the family home of Jude's wife. Still in shock, I knew I had to talk to Paul about it. I approached him multiple times, at least four different times, asking if he knew anything about the secret company and the whereabouts of some of P Square's royalties. Each time I met with him, he denied knowing anything about it. I want to set the record straight. I hereby challenge Paul or anyone else to show any petition that I, Peter Okoye, ever submitted against my twin brother Paul or that has Paul's name on it. Let me take a break here. Now I recall the genesis of this, their second breakup. I know Stella had reported that, look, either Cutie or Stella Cockles had reported that a company tried to purchase P Square's royalties, and they realized that the royalties didn't belong to this North Side Music. I guess he didn't even want to go into these details. But reading this now, I recall the genesis, and when he investigated further, that was where the investigation thing started. But I guess he just wants to kind of protect his brother, like his, their family at the end of the day. And this Peter is emotionally intelligent. He's one who will hardly throw his brothers under the bus, except when the need arises. Besides, this his later is very civil, very polite. You would see the love, even though he is upset and he feels betrayed. I am still writing this with so much shock because I gave clear instructions to my legal team with a standing order that under no circumstances should Paul be included in my petition. Their focus was to remain solely on the primary suspects, Jude Okoye and his wife, Ifeoma Okoye, since they were the directors of the secret company Northside Music. Paul's recent interview about the P Square incident contains a lot of lies. I watched and listened to Paul's interview and I was totally speechless, and I kept asking myself, how does Paul have the audacity to publicly tell a lie like this, even with a respected and reputable agency like the EFCC? He claimed I petitioned him, but there is not something that ever but that's not something that ever happened to Paul. The truth is this was something that actually happened to Jude. The real story goes back to the shocking discovery I made. But what really got me very upset was finding out that for years, millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of naira were being secretly diverted into the secret company's accounts, Northside Music, from our own company, Northside Entertainment. This was not just a minor issue, it was a massive betrayal that had been going on for several years. I understand that Paul is angry because I took this matter to the EFCC, and I understand why. However, bearing in mind that I have met Paul and Jude separately and tried to discuss this matter, and it yielded me with no positive answer. In fact, the last time I approached Paul, the conversation got heated up and he said, and I quote, "Peter, go do your worst." At this stage, I was left with no other choice but to report to the authorities and take legal actions. Jude was then detained after being questioned. He came clean and admitted that he had been diverting millions of dollars of our money to this secret company that he and his wife were the director of. To this secret company that he and his wife were the director of. All of Jude's bank accounts were immediately frozen. He was actually released on bail after he managed to provide a surety and met the other bail conditions. Meanwhile, further investigations are still going on up till now. Paul's name was never mentioned in the petition because he was never a director of this secret company, unless there is something he's hiding from all of us. Paul was only invited for questioning, just like Jelson and Joko of Iroko TV, Amaju Pinnick, and others who had transactional dealings with Northside Music. The EFCC investigation found out that the Northside Music had been secretly collecting P-Square's royalties over the years. This royalty money was sent to a bureau de change, then transferred to Jude's personal bank account. A closer look at Jude's account statement revealed that once the money entered his personal account, there were multiple transactions where he was splitting the funds equally with Paul without Peter. This naturally led to some questions, and after Jude confessed to diverting the funds, he also told the EFCC that the money he had been sending to Paul for several years wasn't about sharing money behind Peter's back. Instead, it was money he owed Paul from the sale of their house in America, which he was gradually paying back the loan. This is the reason why Paul had been telling everyone that EFCC had cleared him, as if I ever wanted him to get into trouble with the EFCC. The story is long, but I will tell it all in due time. For now, I will stop here until EFCC sends the final report to my legal team. Once that happens, before heading to the law courts, I will make the exact petition that doesn't include Paul's name public. I will also release the EFCC final reports, receipts, and other documents related to this secret company, including the CAC registration, bank transactions, and bank statements that Jude set up with his wife, OKOYE. May God help us all. Guys, this is a lot. Like, it is so much to unpack. For the longest time, like, look at Okoye, and she's basically the last wife of the family. As much as Jude is their eldest brother, but she happens to be the youngest wife. How would she connive with her husband to do such? I don't know. People are just funny because there are things I would never do. Like, even if my husband says does this, I'll be like, no, this is wrong. We need to do better. Like, how would you watch your husband swindle his brothers and you're not even bothered? You probably put your name, or will she say she's not aware of the financial transactions? It's also possible, because I heard that man in the show that woman Shege. But then I'm wondering, like, how this is so sad. Their mom will be turning in her grave, their father will be turning in his grave. This is so sad. I have always loved twins, and watching this Big Brother Nigeria show, whenever I see Wani and Handy, behaving like people bonded by blood, it warms my heart a lot. I am just shocked that Paul will connive with his brother Jude and be humiliating his brother. Is he under influence? Is he charmed or what? Guys, this is a whole lot. A whole lot. You see this thing they say in life, the partners, the people we end up with have a great influence over us. We may not agree, but that's the truth. That's the truth. And I remember way back, people used to blame the wives. Oh, it's Lola's fault. It's this person's fault. But I'm glad that this time nobody is blaming the wives, because it's obvious that these brothers are just out to be messy. And recently, let me show you that Anita hung out with Peter's children. Yeah, she hung out with Peter's children in America, and even shared, that was on Sunday. She also shared on her Insta story, which Peter of PSQUARE, reposted, because Anita captioned it, my children and I. It was on a Sunday. You can tell that I love that Anita, and recently, uh, Paul unfollowed his ex-wife Anita, and a lot of people are like, it's because he's married to a former. Anita is jealous, but from all indication, it has to do with this, because it's obvious Anita has decided to stay on her own. Because I remember during the previous fight, Anita was kind of being sneaky. Then they were still married, but this time she has decided to stick with the Okoye, like with Peter, and she doesn't care. She has her money. He must pay child support, except he doesn't want to see his kids. So he can only throw tantrums, unfollow her, do all those drama online. That's where it's going to end. He will still live up to his expectations as the father of his children. That's for a fact. And also, Ifeoma Okoye, Jude's wife, also unfollowed Lola. Very funny. She unfollowed Lola. And of course, Lola still follows her. Lola is such a classic queen that does not like Wahala. I don't know, her heart is so open and so pure. So, guys, I would like to know your opinions on the whole P-Square issue. That is, if you got to this point, on whose side are you on? For me, I am definitely on P-Square side. Jude is the problem here. Yeah, and I believe that he needs to, I don't know, he needs to do better. But then, do you think Peter Obi will be able to resolve their issues? Like, I am hopeful. Do you think Peter Obi will be able to resolve their issues? Is it possible? like this issue that family members, the elders in their families could not resolve. Well, fingers crossed. Let's see how it goes. Regardless, we pray for peace, and I also hope that if you're watching this and you're a woman and you have your husband's brothers at loggerheads, be a beacon of peace, be a beacon of hope. Don't ignite the fire that is already burning. You can do better. We all can do better. We should do better, because I mean, no mother wants to see her children in this type of situation. No mother at all.